Hello y'all. I'm making this video here to share with y'all that these were my tapes, these are my cassettes in the days of cassettes, my days. These are my very first set of cassettes that I ever owned in my entire life. So this most everything is from the early 80s. Well, basically like 1981 through say 1983. This cassette here, this one here, is my very first one ever. And this one is from March of 2000, no, 2000. This is from March of 1981. I had this tape since then. And this right now is January 1st, 2014, ladies and gentlemen. And there's babies. Well, anyway, this is my very first cassette ever. And this one basically has voice recordings. Like when the tape recorder was in and when we were all into them in the old days. And then later on, these were my next set of tapes. Some of the very first ones I ever owned. Like this one. They're Sertrons. I guess the brand is Sertron. And I drew, in those days I used to peel the stickers off of the tapes and then I would try to make a new one, And I used a grocery bag to make this when I was 11 years old. Or 10, I think. I was 10 at the time. And then here's another one that I made out of a grocery bag. And then I put a little warning there. Is not toy. I wrote this when I was 11 years old. Because I used to have a sister, who used to like to play with my tapes, and she was only 1 year old at the time, or not even that. And she used to get a hold of my cassettes and mess them up. And I used to get so pissed. And so I just had this thing about writing this, to try to let out my frustration. So anyway, here's another thing I did because I peeled off the sticker since it was easy to do. And then I put duct tape, and then of course I tried to make my own covers and stuff in my days because I doing my kid things, damaging the original things. This cassette, I peeled off all the stickers here, and another warning. Another one. I tried to make original, that I tried to make it look original. And this is a cassette I stole. I stole this one from school, like it was lying around in the school. Now these are the original covers that were on these. But I actually tried to reuse that peeled cover and put it on this cassette just to see how a white cassette looks with it on. And then of course I made another. See, at this time that's it says tape 9. That means that this was my 9th cassette ever in my collection. And over here was tape 5 and tape 4 and then tape 6. This was my very 6th tape ever in my collection. And then of course, I gotta go over here. And then these I had them since 1989. These were later. But I had these in the 1983, 84, I think it was. No, I think it was 83. And then I tried to make my own. Well, these did not come with cases, but I wanted to make one, and I wanted to make it look original, so I drew that. And then this tape, I don't know if I believe I stole this one from someone. And then I tried to make one again, tried to make it look original. Then this one here, well, it's like I drew all these because I really loved my cassettes in my days, And then this sticker, I don't know how and then this is like the address where I used to live. years ago. It's hard to focus right now. Well, it's Santa Ana anyway. Well, anyway, this was a TDK anyway. So, well, it was something. And then this is I think this is a tape I stole from one of my uncles and aunts in the old days. You know, I did my kid things then, you know, and I tried to make another fancy cover again. This one, another fancy cover. And then this one, I think I stole it from school back in '81. Or I don't know if it was being thrown away, or I think I stole it. And this one here, this was I guess this is the original AC/DC tape. AC/DC Let There Be Rock, I guess. And then here's another one. This one I don't remember with it. This was actually a Memorex cassette. But the casing, I just broke the casing because it was not take apartable, and then I just put it on this one here. And then this one here is an Ampex tape. Well, it's not actually an Ampex tape. I think it probably was, but I transferred it onto another case and then tried to make it fancy again. And this one, I know I stole this one when I was 10 years old from my uncle's house in my days. I stole a lot. I did my bad kid things in those days, and then these were unique cases, you know. I stole these from school, you know. In my days, you know, I was pretty bad then. Now this is a cassette here that the school threw away because it wasn't working good, and then I just snuck it out of the trash. But these cases, all 5 of these cases, or 6, I guess. See, these cases are unique. They're different. See, they're a little different. But anyway, I stole these cases from the school, you know, in my day. No, this is the original covers of these. And then I broke the little glass thingy. And then, of course, this cassette, I'm not really sure. I don't remember where that came from. But here's another one. Yeah, this one, I think I stole this one from my aunt. But it was probably something that she didn't want anyway, so I just stole it. And then I put this Chevy sticker on it. And then again, I tried to make it look fancy. Make my own covers. Then I think this one, my brother gave it to me. And then there's another one of those Citron tapes. So, all of them I peeled the covers from. Another fancy one I made as a kid. Probably another cassette I stole from my cousins. This one, I'm not really sure where this one came from. I think it's probably from '84 or so. And then this is another one of the, it's a Classmate. No, this is not Classmate. This is actually a Scotch tape, but I guess I stole this one too. That was pretty bad. And then these, in Mexico, they used to sell these. They used to sell, like, the vendors or the people walking around the mall or whatever, or it was like one of these shopping centers, outdoor shopping centers. These guys would be walking around with packs of these things, selling them. And then my mom, I guess, bought one pack, which is this one, and this one. Bought this one pack for 50 pesos at that time. And then, but these cassettes are all beat up though. They're very low quality. But these were my brother's at the time. And over here, I guess he recorded the Queen, or I think it was Flash Gordon or some. And then I guess I think this is Queen. See, this was my brother's tape at the time, but then he gave it to me. So these are some beaters that I owned in my days, 1981. And then along with all this, this is my case. I had this case. I bought this case somewhere around April of 1981. And in my days, you know, I used to kind of beat on it a little bit just because I felt like I didn't have anything else to do, you know. So I kind of bent this on purpose, and then I made holes on it. And then over here I had the idea of writing down new, medium, meaning like not new, not old, and then old. And then I was going to put the old, anything that was old and beat up on this side, and something that's not too old and beat up, but not that new either in here, and then put anything that was new, brand new on this. I did that one time before, but of course that's a long time ago. But over here, what I did here is I some of the toys that I had. I mean, I had like a wrench toy, and then I thought I would be funny, and I would just pretend that I dropped it, and that it dropped so hard that it scorched it, or how we call it, it gouged it. You know, I would pretend that it gouged, and I did that here and here too. I don't remember what toy it was, but I don't remember. But anyway, and then but with this though, I mean, I guess like the handle broke. It broke on its own. I didn't break it. It broke on its own, and that's it. So this case, this whole cassette collection here, I had this one since 1981. I mean, well, like most of these cassettes, or at least more than half of these, is from like 81, I guess, or 82 or 83. So these are more than 30 years old. Some of them are 33. Well, yeah, it'll be 33 next month, or in the next 2 months. This one will be 33 years old, and along with these, will be 33 years old in the next couple months. And that's how long I've had them. And then this too, you know, half of them are from 1981, 81. So it's like, that's my story of these cassettes. Okay. Okay, y'all, again. Okay, here's my story of my, more of my collection of tapes. So over here, well, this one here, well, this box, I had the idea of taking this box after my mom bought this straining iron back in 1987, because I thought it would make a nice box to store some of my tapes. So I did, you know, and then this is what I have in here. And then, you know, there's some more tapes. Well, these tapes are from like maybe like in the late 80s. Well, this one's from the early 80s. I think some of these are from the early 80s. This one is, yeah, early 80s. And then I put a Z in here, and the way I decorated them in my old days. And this tape, now this is a cassette that one day was stolen. You know, like I had one day, and like I had all of my cassettes. I had about 90 of them at the time, back in 1982. I had like 90 cassettes, but it was actually 94. And then I had all of my collection of tapes on the washing machine in the garage one day. And then my next door neighbor, who wasn't really trustworthy. I mean, like I had them out there, and then like I had them out there for a few days, not thinking that they were gonna take them or anything, but they did. Excuse me. Well, anyway, so I had them out there for like a few days, not thinking anything was gonna happen. But when I decided to bring them all in, I mean, that's when I noticed 10 of them missing. I noticed about 9 were missing, and I was really heartbroken for it. I was really turned down by it, and it really hurt me. I mean, that was really a bad thing to happen to me. I mean, It was devastating for me to have lost my tapes because I was really into my tapes then. This was actually a Sertron cassette. Like this, it was like one of these. It was like one of these. And but when they stole it, they stole it. It was stolen, and then it was like probably about a year or two later that my neighbor had this cassette. And I was like really upset that he had my cassette because I knew it because of the way this window is shaped, the way it looked over here. And so at that time I demanded him that he give me my tape back, or else I was gonna tell, I don't remember what I was gonna do, but I know I was threatening him that I want my tape back. And so he did, but what happened is that I don't remember what happened, but I just know I just somehow ended up getting my tape back. But of course, everything was erased. All of my voices was erased, and I was really hurt by that. I mean, I took it as sentimental value. So here, this is something. This is like a later. I mean, this was something from '82. And this was a TDK, and I think this one I stole it from that neighbor who I suspected stole my tapes. This was a TDK, and here's a breakdance tape that was my brother's. This was a breakdance tape, and then this is something that I also stole. I guess this was back in 1984. Now this is some more of my tapes that I had since '81. This one, Avanti or whatever they're called. See, I wrote my name. That's how I radio and the way I decorated some of these cassettes. This is something that, and then I was like pretty serious at one point or another. I guess this one came off. I guess this is coming. See, and then this song, "Call Me," that I have right there. This song is actually called "All of Me" by Willie Nelson, which I really loved in my days. And this is from my '82. I bought these in Pick and Save. PMCs. This was from '82. This one, I don't remember where this one came from. No, I think I don't remember where it came from. I think we bought it. That was from '85. And then this was some more of my very first cassettes ever. And on these, I bought these in Pick and Save back then, 1981. And I bought these, and I remember when I first discovered cassettes from Pick and Save. And then I was really astonished as a kid to have found that these were only 98 cents for the 3-pack. And I was like really astonished. And I was so grateful to have found a store that was selling cassettes for really cheap. And so I was really happy because I was used to paying like maybe $2-3 for a 3-pack of cassettes, And then, wow, these are song cassettes, Blizzard of Oz. And then here's an AC/DC for those about to rock. A song cassette, that was my brother's. This is something from the late '80s. I just found them in random places. Michael Jackson, Thriller. There's another one that I think this was in one of my cousin's cars in the late '80s. I think '88, '89. And here's another one. I think this cassette I found, or I erased, I don't remember, but I just know I decided to use it to record music and computer files, like computer files, and when I had the tape recorder. And here's another computer file tape. A tape when I had the tape recorder for my computer. This was from the 1987. And here's another one from around 1987 as well. I recorded music on this one in my song cassettes. Here's another one right here. Well, this one is probably one of my neighbors. And here's another cassette that I tried to make a fancy thing. This is my own cassette, Eye of the Tiger. This was my song cassette. I used to record music off the radio, you know. And this one is from 1983. And this was my breakdance cassette. I mean, it's like, this was my brother's, and then he gave it to me or something. And then I erased it and recorded I recorded breakdance music like Space Cowboy, and I recorded Space Cowboy and everything. And one day, though, this cassette, I mean, my neighbor, who was like, who did not like for me to have his music, he secretly stole my cassette one day. And then I was kind of like upset a little bit. And then another day, I came across another friend who happened to have this cassette, and I recognized it everywhere. And then it's like, and then one day, like, while they weren't watching, I just secretly stole it back. And then I saw that he erased half of the stuff. He erased half of everything. And then over here, this is where I put and then and being so happy that I got it back. This was back in 1984. Being so happy that I got it back, I put this memorandum, or whatever you call it. And I just put, I don't know, I was just too happy. I was so happy to get this cassette back. I mean, because it was something that I valued, you know. It was also because of the music too. I liked all the music, which I didn't have anymore after he stole my tape. But anyway, that's another tape. And then here's another cassette. This is Nampik's tape. This is like the one I'm talking about. Well, this is like something from 1981. And then of course I put it in another cassette case, since I didn't have the original one. I used to just put them on anything. This one, I don't remember. I mean, this was actually this was my neighbor's, but it's like, I guess he left it. It's not like I actually stole it, because one day I found it at the house one day, and I didn't know. Well, I knew that it was my neighbor's, but it just ended up in the house, and it's like nobody came for it, so I claimed it. Here's another one, but this is not actually a Sony cassette. This is a TDK. See, here's one of mine. See, here you can see it, number 12, tape number 12. This was my very 12th cassette ever in my life. And of course, it has my name on it. I did not write my name there, though. But the way I wrote it here, the reason why I wrote it like this instead of this way is because my tape recorders always took the cassettes in this way. And so I figured that I wanted to write it in a way where I could read it when I'm playing it on the tape recorder, because some tape recorders play the cassettes like this, like where it's supposedly upside down. And then some tape recorders take them in like this, and this is actually the right way, right side up, supposedly. But I used to always think of this as being the right side up. So that's where I got this writing upside down like that. And then this one, I think another cassette I probably stole. And this is actually a Scotch tape. A Scotch cassette. I think I recorded music and stuff. This is 82. No, I think that was 82. Yeah, 82 or 81 it might be. So this one, and then I wrote this way back in 1988 or 89. Because I figured that I wanted to save all the old voices for later, you know. In 1996, I put 96 because some of the oldest cassettes was going to be 15 years old then. So I wanted to make a little anniversary thing, you know. So that's my story of my tapes. Alrighty.